Hello my friends, my name is Steve Munib with Steve Munib Yacht Sales, and my goal is to help you find a boat, sell your boat, or share my knowledge on anything boating. So instead of getting into the news today, let's do a video of something, because since it's the weekend, it turns out, since I'm kind of new at this, is that there's not that many articles posted on weekends. So I think on weekends what we'll do is like videos like what I'm about to do. Also, there's no stock marine update. So let's just go into it. Let's not waste no time here. Okay. We're gonna go watch this guy. No, so this guy is John from Powerboat Television, and he's basically walking you through this. It's the main Mercury production facility, and it's in Wisconsin, Fond du Lac. Yeah. So we're loaded for bear. If you're from Wisconsin, I think you understand that one. All right. Let's see.
We were invited to Fond du Lac because Mercury has invested
They never invited
significantly
me.
in this manufacturing facility to meet the demand of the consumer. Building the latest lightweight V6 and V8 outboard engines is no easy task, and
They are lightweight. I gotta say that.
it all starts with casting. Mercury is home to some of the most powerful die cast presses in the world.
Die cast. So if you don't know what die casting is, it's basically it's a process where it forces really hot metal through high pressure into a mold. I mean, that's kind of like simple.
This is a die from that monstrous 4,500
That's
ton
what it
press,
is.
and it's used for V6 and V8 outboards.
Yeah.
And if you can believe it, there are more parts in that die than there are in the average powerhead. Now, the benefits of such high pressure is an incredibly dense and yet lightweight casting. And that is how Mercury gets these V6 and V8 outboards to be so light and yet maintain all that durability.
A die cast machine is, in essence, a large
Tell us,
hydraulic
Scott.
press. We scoop the molten aluminum up with a ladle, pour it in a large tube. A
Yeah.
piston pushes that molten aluminum through the tube,
There you
up
go.
between the two die halves. It holds it on pressure for a short amount of time. There's water lines that are plumbed inside the die. The water lines are activated, so it accelerates the cooling process. So molten aluminum goes from
Okay,
liquid state
interesting.
to a solid state in a matter of seconds. A robot goes in, grabs the casting,
I love
and
robots.
basically it's ready for an exit conveyor.
Various
Can't wait till a
component
robot
castings are formed
takes us
using this same
to the
process.
ocean.
Once cool, unwanted elements from the molding process are cut away, collected, and recycled. Having the
Okay.
foundry on site allows the
That's good
scraps
of
to
you
get
guys.
reduced back to molten aluminum. There is virtually no waste during this process.
No
We're
way.
one of the lucky people in the industry where we have a
Oh,
foundry
Robin.
on site in the United States.
This guy knows his stuff. This guy knows his stuff. Yeah, we spoke for a while in Miami Boat Show. Yeah. I even have some videos of him on Instagram.
That's 100% clean. We control the quality of the metal. We want to make sure it's the right content. It's going to hold up for corrosion. If an outboard engine has 1,000 pieces, for an example, 687 of those pieces are built in-house.
Special steel cylinder sleeves are pressed into the newly formed blocks.
We brought a lot more robotics in that help control
I
the
love
quality.
robots.
It makes it easy for the associate to assemble the engine. We're bringing in more Mazak cutters, and that's the actual tool where the actual component goes in and we do the machining on. We're close to almost 300 of these cutters. They're going to
Wow.
work around the clock
Look how clean that facility is. Unless he's got a green screen behind him.
to increase capacity. By going robotics, what we're doing is kind of more like we cut the part, then we check it. Let's just say that position took 20 people. Now it only takes 3. Now we can move those people back on the line to help with assembly or other sections.
Mercury has an incredibly
awesome.
sophisticated corrosion protection system. And for most of the outboards, it's a two-part process that starts with what they call chrome conversion. And after, it goes through an EDP process, which is electro deposition painting. It's a really sophisticated version
Wow.
of powder coating. And about 85% of all outboard parts go through this two-step process. A secondary benefit of this EDP
Those
process is that the
little
paint's
units.
not used. The stuff that's in the air that doesn't get applied can be reused. Unlike a liquid system, once you spray it, it's basically
I
junk.
like it.
And they actually go through this system 3 times for the maximum finish durability and UV protection.
After a variety of treatments, the engine blocks and other components head towards assembly.
So, Mercury Racing offers 3 types of lower units, or gear casing. But when it's not a Mercury Racing, I think it's just one. So, if I ever mess anything up, just correct me in the comments. This way I'll learn too. But I'm pretty sure that Mercury Racing, which is like a completely different department of Mercury, but it's their racing division. But don't get it twisted. People put racing engines on their recreational, boat. So you'll see like right now the highest horsepower for Mercury Racing is their new 450 horsepower. It used to be their 400, and then before that was the 350. But now it's 450 Mercury Racing engine, and it's awesome. It's really fast. Okay, sorry. Go. Look how clean that is.
Since 2008, we've invested over $1.1 billion in our manufacturing footprint. That's really been driven by amazing investment in our products. And clearly, to make those kind of products, we need to invest in how we manufacture them. We have many, many more women working today in the plant than we used to, and part of that's been enabled by the systems we've put in. Heavy engines are hard to move from station to station, so we have a lot of aided lifting and maneuvering of those engines, which enable a much broader workforce to be able to safely work in our plant. The employee engagement we have across Mercury is amazing. We couldn't do what we do without every single employee.
Look at that.
In this.
Look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. That's awesome. If somebody out there can maybe comment below, I would love to know when they started using these type of robots. Unless I didn't listen to her and she just said it.
Building. It's really our intention to define the industry, and that's part of the benefit we get now being 100% marine focused.
After the assembly process, every engine is run through what's called a hot test to ensure everything is functioning as it should.
Our design of our hot test is unique to our product. So we're looking at making sure that we understand the braking of the engine.
Hot test.
What's the RPMs we need to run that engine to verify the oil pressure, temperatures, making sure the electrical system works correctly inside that engine before we pass it on to the customer. So the engine, when it comes in the hot test tank, is going to lower down into a tank of water, just like it's sitting in the lake to run the engine. We're hooking everything onto it from a throttle control, fuel itself to run through the engine. Looking for water pickup, water pressure, oil temperature. There's a hood that comes down. It's a very visual management system. So the operator's got a recipe that they do not touch. It automatically runs based on that model that's coming in there. Runs through the test.
That's
After
really
it finishes
cool.
the test, the hood itself will turn a green color. Let them know that it's passed the test. It's a good engine going out to the customer. It'll turn red if there's a defect in that engine. Make sure it cannot go out to the customer, and it stops.
Wow. So you heard him, right? Sometimes I talk over these guys. So if that turns red, there's something wrong with it. If it turns green, it's awesome.
I'm going through the final operations, and it'll send it into a repair bay.
Countless hours of research and design go into each and every engine. Later in the show, we see just how far Mercury has gone to make their engines as quiet as possible.
Wow, this
We
is
will
awesome.
also see what steps are involved in manufacturing propellers.
Oh, props?
Back in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, at Mercury Manufacturing, hours of R&D go into making a marine engine. But one element you might not think gets much attention is noise, vibration, and harshness.
Oh, hold up. Yes. Okay. The competition is so much louder than Mercury. Mercury, sometimes, okay, not sometimes. I bet everybody's done this, and you can comment below. But have you ever started your Mercury engine, done something around the boat, and then come back and forget that you started it, and then you try to start it again, and you're like, and you hear, and you're like, oh damn, it's on, because you didn't even hear it. I don't think that happens with the other guys. Not that I'm in love with Mercury, but Mercury's awesome. Yeah, and so they're always quiet.
As NVH. During the recent plant expansion, Mercury developed a building entirely dedicated to measuring NVH in their engines.
A symphony in
and
there.
this is the hemi-anechoic chamber, really the heart of the NVH facility. Here, you can mount an outboard or a stern drive engine up to 500 horsepower. And if you've heard just how quiet those new V6 and V8 engines are,
wow.
The start of it all is right here.
We're constantly trying to go after the best data we can. And the only way to do that is eliminate all those extra.
Doug, call me and I want a tour. Robin, call me, I want a tour. This is awesome.
Influences. We partnered with a great engineering firm and they helped us through this process. It's actually 2 buildings within a building when you look at the 2 chambers.
I'm gonna record my next album on there.
The chambers themselves are constructed to eliminate a lot of ground-borne vibration. The tank in the ground holds about 66,000 gallons of water. The concrete floor in the building built on top of the floor is actually floating on 42 springs. When we were in the midst of developing one of our outboards, our product engineers, because the quietness of the room, actually heard a whistle. Probably not something you generally hear at the dock. It took us a while to figure out what it was, but it turned out that it was actually the wind from the flywheel creating a vortice across the crank position sensor. And we actually redesigned the shape of the crank position sensor so that it eliminates that whistle. It is a unique tool set for us, and in order for us to maintain our advantage in the NVH side of the business, we feel it's necessary to continue that investment, and we're happy to see that they support that idea.
Next on tour was the Mercury Propeller Factory.
Oh, props. Okay, props. Mercury has the best prop selection. The other guys, they just, if anything, there are props, and I'm sure you've seen this. There are Yamahas out there with Mercury props, because there's such a large selection compared to what the other guys have. Yeah.
So good at what they do that they not only manufacture propellers for Mercury outboard and inboard-outboard engines,
they have 3-bladers, 4-bladers. They have dual prop 3-bladers. I wonder if they'll ever have a dual prop 4-blader. Well, if they do, tell me.
Engine manufacturers as well.
Market share for stainless steel propellers worldwide, Mercury is a dominant player in the outboard and stern drive marketplace with class-leading market share for our products, which is really driven by, number one, the fantastic engine product. We get to benefit from that, but we also benefit from the performance that we bring to the table, such that our products not only used on Mercury products, but for customers who run competitive product from Yamaha, BRP, Suzuki, know that if they want to get the best performance out of their boat, they run a Mercury propeller on their boat.
That's true.
So what we're talking about today is called investment casting, also referred to as lost wax casting. We actually start with a tool. 140-degree molten wax is actually injected into that die to create a wax copy of the propeller. And then the product goes through a series of sequential dips. Then we invest a shell around the wax pattern. The first dip is called a prime dip with a very fine-grained sand because you want the very smooth surface finish. Subsequent dips is a more coarse sand because those are all about strength.
Wow.
Has to go through a 24-hour dry period. Then the propeller is de-waxed, so the prop's upside down. Wax drains out, and then you have a shell ready to receive 3,000-degree stainless steel. And what you get then is a casting that looks something like this in the raw state. And then it goes through a 2-stage blasting process, one to blast out the interior of the propeller, and the other to blast the oxides off of the surface of the prop. You get a surface finish that looks like this.
Look at that.
Next step then is a machining operation on what's called the labyrinth seal. That area is machined because you want a precise interface with the engine so that it keeps exhaust gas traveling through the hub just like you want it. Then from there, the propeller gets a full grind. And then the last step is what we call media finish or drag finish. And then from there,
put that shine on.
Washed, gets inspected for any last defects. Finally, it'll get mated with a hub kit, put in the box.
There you have it. Bravo 1 has been fully polished.
They're so heavy. I mean, they're not that heavy, but they're heavier than you think. Yeah, they're heavy. And you do not want to drop that. If you drop it, it's over.
While our tour of the facilities was coming to an end, several things were made perfectly clear. Mercury has listened to their engines, literally, and they have expanded their facilities to meet market demand.
Yes, they have.
Making their own components puts them in the driver's seat of their production both now and into the future.
Guys, Mercury, every 4 or 5 years, Mercury does this over Yamaha, and then Yamaha does this, and then Mercury does this, and then Yamaha does this. I mean, right now, Mercury, I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe you can comment below. What do you guys like? Mercury, Yamaha? Yamaha came out with the 425s, and those are really amazing. And Mercury came out with the 450 racing engines, which are really cool. Their 400s are really similar to the 300s, or the 300s and the 350s, because they're like the same engine. So why don't you guys start a discussion below? Okay, let's get out of here for a second. What did I want to show you? Oh, prop selection. Okay, so you can go on Mercury and check out props, because I wanted to show you that about that. Anything else I want to show you? Hey, Mercury. I don't know if this is possible, but Yamaha does this, and I would love for you guys to do this too. If you went on Yamaha site, you can put in the serial number of the engine, and it will give you the expiration of the warranty. It'll tell you if there's some left, if you can buy more. You guys need to do that, please. Just put it anywhere on the site. We'll find it, we'll Google it. But make that available. It's such a convenience. Anyways, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. Okay, what else? That's it. That's it, right? Yeah. My name is Steve Munib with Steve Munib Yacht Sales, and my goal is to help you find a boat, sell your boat, or share my knowledge on anything boating. You can always connect with me through phone, email, or any of my social media channels. I'll see you on the water. You've earned it. Another good show. One take, baby.